Travelers are disappointed this morning due to the closure of FINEX travel agency following the murder of a military officer on the night of July 22, 2020. Peter and Sosie in this newscast will bring to you fresh happenings of the incident at the travel agency situated in the heart of Accra. Plus, Prime Minister, Head of Government, Josephine Bindzi, has in an interministerial meeting today sought ways to protect women with COVID-19 and vulnerable families affected by the coronavirus. And this newscast will also bring to you the increase in the prices of rice in the market. What becomes of consumers this season when it rains cats and dogs? John Paul Sama with a tentative answer in this newscast. And those are top stories. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining the 6 p.m. newscast on Spectrum Television. I am Josephine Bindzi. As announced in the headlines, FINEX travel agency situated in the heart of Accra has been shut down following the murder of a gendarme officer on the night of July 22, 2020 over 100 francs dispute of a public loo. The suspects are in police custody as Peter and Sosie tells us details of what went wrong last night.
FINEX branch Douala sealed Thursday following the gruesome murder of a Gendarmerie officer Wednesday night by some workers of the travel agency. To my greatest surprise, I realized that the agency is deserted, and I got information that the gendarme officer has been assassinated, though I don't know if it's true or not. No personnel is around, and I'm disappointed. The situation comes as a disguised blessing to their competitors in the area. There's traffic everywhere, and bosses of other agencies that are usually not here can be found. The non-payment of 100 francs by the deceased after using the toilet led to the brawl, as images circulating on social media show. In the fight, another officer, a colleague to the deceased, is wounded and is taken to hospital for medical attention. Moments later, the forces of law and order arrive at the scene and take the protagonist and management into custody. We gathered that security guards, the toilet manager, and cleaners are amongst those who were whisked off. Sources say the two officers were coming from a mission in the southwest region and had boarded a bus to Yaoundé before the tragedy struck.
And over to Yaoundé, Cameroon's total of COVID-19 statistics of 16,780 cases of COVID-19 infections, amongst which 14,988 have recovered, have come under review today in the Yaoundé at the interministerial meeting at the Star Building in Yaoundé, chaired by Prime Minister, Head of Government, Josephine Bindzi, to curtail the spread of the COVID-19 virus amongst women and in the family. The Minister of Women Empowerment in her department has been executing a threefold strategy, especially on psychosocial follow-up of affected families, prevention and the distribution of economic stimulus pathologies. Marie-Therese Abene-Ondua says they will continue the awareness strategies to keep Cameroonian families afresh. The Special Solidarity Fund donated by the Head of State was also discussed this season. Finance Minister Louis-Paul Motaze says this fund ought to be managed properly. At the end of the session, Prime Minister Josephine Bindzi instructed members of government to intensify the protection of the family in the circle of Cameroon. Vendors of rice are in a limbo on the increase of the prices of rice in the market, as they are forced to sell at high prices imposed on them by wholesalers who do not explain the reason behind these new prices. John Paul Sama with details.
Rice, which used to be one of the most affordable commodities in the market, is steadily witnessing a rise in its price per kilogram, much to the dismay of retailers.
The rice is so much expensive now to the market.
A bel et bien augmenté le prix.
The prices have gone up. Rice, which used to cost 14,000 francs CFA, is now 19,000 francs CFA. Thailand rice, which used to be retailed at 150 francs per cup, is now 21,000 from 18,000 francs CFA per sack. But we still retail at that price, which is costing us a profit. What baffles these sellers is the fact that the genesis of this price hike is unknown, as no one is giving them any details. The wholesalers don't tell us exactly what is the cause of this price hike.
We cannot understand what's happening, that the price of rice is like that. That's why last time I asked that the other government who can help us.
Meanwhile, the customers on their part are also feeling the pinch, but helpless. The clients complain, but they have no choice. Their wish is for someone somewhere to do something to ease their expenditures so they can have more money in their pockets, with households served during this trying period.
About 52 shops were reduced to nothing following a fire outbreak close to 12 months ago at the Cité de Palmiers market in the Douala 5 municipality. Traders are seeking possible ways to reconstruct these shops in the market. Crystal Asexwele visited these markets today, July 23, 2020, and encountered some victims in the following report.
It is close to a year now that traders of the Cité de Palmiers market saw their shops go down in flames, leaving close to 52 traders in devastation. Janet is one of those who saw her years of hard work vanish into the air under her own eyes. Today, she is trying to pick up pieces of herself and reconstruct all that she lost with great difficulties, especially with her present financial situation and with the limited space she is forced to carry out her activities under the ruins of the fire incident. I am one of the victims of the fire incident of November 23 at the Cité de Palmiers market. I had a food supply store where I sold almost everything.
Monsieur Tonnet est arrivé. Il nous a dit que bon, c'est peut-être pas un problème. Il a pris acte et puis il nous a dit qu'il fera l'effort de nous aider.
Since the promise of the former government delegate of reconstructing this market, nothing has been done. We are still waiting. We even asked the authorities if we could set up tables to sell on. They asked us not to touch anything but use beach umbrellas. At my age, it's not possible. It is, however, quite difficult for all the 52 traders affected by this fire incident to resume their activities in the market, as their stalls and stands consumed by flames are still to be reconstructed. The president of the Cité de Palmiers Traders Union, Kana Gabriel, cries out to the authorities on behalf of his comrades. We know that our mayor is very sensitive, especially to the plight of women. We are certain that he will rebuild this market for us, which in turn will fill government coffers. We are confident he will come to our aid. Many other markets in the city of Douala, like the Mbopi, Bunamusadi and Central markets, which were equally reduced to ashes by fire, are still on the lookout on the authorities for reconstruction.
The wearing of face masks was and is still mandatory in public spaces as spelled out by government. But the state of sales have gone down as many people have become disinterested in wearing these face masks in spite of the huge infection rates in Cameroon. Crystal Asexwele still with details. Professor Noel Esomba has challenged Dr. Ndumbe Jacques to uphold the standards of the Nilong District Hospital as he officially takes over today as interim director of the health center. Let's have more with you, John Paul Sama.
It is in a convivial atmosphere that goodbyes have been said to Professor Noel Esomba, who takes over functions at the Lakentini Hospital after over 2.5 years in charge of the Nilong District Hospital.
Donc, mes chers amis, je suis heureux d'avoir travaillé ici. Je suis heureux d'avoir servi.
I'm very happy to have worked and served here. Even though it has been a short time, it was really very intense and a time of success. Successful because I encountered persons who followed the message, who bought the philosophy, and together we achieved all what we set out for.
Qui a épousé la philosophie et avec qui nous avons réussi à bâtir ce qui a été présenté. Ce n'est pas utopique.
He is being replaced by Dr. Ndumbe Jacques Narcisse as the interim director of the Nilong District Hospital.
Une chose, c'est qu'il sera à la hauteur de ce que nous avons construit ici et avec son doigté très particulier que je connais également.
If one thing is clear, it is the fact that he is up to the task, and with lots of collaboration, this infrastructure is going to excel. In his hands, a couple of challenges like the completion of this hall and other pending issues. You're lucky to have a motivated and hardworking staff at your disposal, which is not always the case.
Ce personnel est motivé, est engagé, est coopérant. Ça, c'est souvent difficile.
The challenge of maintaining a reputable standard for the Nilong District Hospital now lies on the shoulders of Dr. Ndumbe Jacques Narcisse as he heads this health center.
Wearing of face mask is still mandatory in Cameroon as spelled out by the government. But the state of the sales have gone down as many people have become disinterested in the wearing of masks in spite of the huge infection rates recorded in the country. Details with you, Crystal Asexwele.
Face mask dealers in the economic capital Douala are facing tough times in their business. The nonchalance displayed by majority of the population who have stopped wearing face masks is the cause of this decline in business. Many of those affected by the slump in activities have returned to their previous preoccupations. We have gone back to our initial business, which is the fabrication of bags. We don't produce as before. The dealers explain that face mask orders have dropped, and this has also forced them to limit their production quantity. Although adversely hit by the situation, they however call on individuals to adopt responsible behaviors to curb the spread of the COVID-19 virus.
The 6 divisional delegations of secondary education are now equipped with computer accessories and anti-COVID-19 materials that will enable them improve their work and the fight against the pandemic. The use of digital tools are now becoming more and more primordial, especially in the increasing productivity. The allocation of 15 million CFA francs worth of computer accessories like high-quality computers have been donated to the Far North region. The beneficiaries have been called upon to make appropriate use of these materials. With the main objective to be the voice to the voiceless, a total of 360 civil society organizations have been discovered in the littoral region. A proper administration body is therefore a necessity at this stage to properly manage the affairs of the association. Peter Nsosye with details.
The cartography of civil society organizations in the littoral region shows that there are 360 civil society organizations in the region. It is a result of a study by ASET initiated by Une Mon Avenir. According to stakeholders, it is a major development. The 360 civil society organizations constitute an important foundation to promote the civil society sector in the littoral region. The civil society organizations are involved in various sectors, but with one target, being the voice of the common man. This diversity must be sustained by a proper administrative setup for efficiency.
Parce que c'est un document dynamique qui doit être
This dynamic document must be revised regularly so that whenever the administration needs an organization in a domain, they can quickly access them to promote development for the interest of the population. A legal framework guides the collaboration between civil society organizations and the public administration, but their relationship remains a thorny one. It is believed that this study will be the starting point of a more fruitful partnership.
Et cela doit se faire avant la mise en œuvre des programmes.
It has to be done before the drawing of programs, because civil society organizations collect data from the field. If not, we shall have a hospital or a school in an area where it's not needed, and this will lead to conflict. The consortium of civil society organizations in the Littoral region hopes to use the document to strengthen synergy and put in a platform for multi-sector consultation.
The President of the Republic of Cameroon, His Excellency President Paul Biya, has today received the British High Commissioner to Cameroon, Rowan James Laxton. He appreciated the steps of the government that is taking to curtail the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the crisis in the northwest and the southwest regions of Cameroon. He also assured Cameroon of the UK's unwavering support to the government of Cameroon in the ongoing health crisis. And on our international page, a report by the United Kingdom National Cyber Security Center this month accused hackers with links to Russian intelligence of attacking organizations developing a vaccine for COVID-19. The report has raised diplomatic tensions and opened a window into the world of pharmaceutical intelligence. Details with the VOA.
The report by the UK National Cybersecurity Centre says Russian hackers have been using spear phishing and malware to target British
And let's now have the VOA.
The report by the UK National Cybersecurity Centre says Russian hackers have been using spear phishing and malware to target British, Canadian and US organizations researching COVID-19 vaccines. The centre says the hacking group APT29, also known as the Dukes and Cozy Bear, attacked the companies in a bid to steal information about COVID-19 vaccine development and testing. Experts say the group is also linked to Russian intelligence services.
This group in particular has been known for doing covert, so quiet, secret espionage. And the most high-profile targets that we've seen APT29 go after, State Department, the White House, the DNC in 2015 before the 2016 breach by a different group. So this is the go-to group. This is the most specialized group for high-value intelligence.
Russia rejects the accusations.
We don't accept these allegations. We don't know who tried to hack what in the UK. It's certain that Russia has nothing to do with it.
Security experts say the hacking attempt suggests that under Vladimir Putin, Russia has not invested in the kind of science and research needed to develop its own vaccine.
Russian science is behind not just the US and UK and Europe, it's behind China, it's behind India. And Putin desperately wants to build that up. But he spent the first half of his reign developing an oligarchy, right? Developing oil and gas and not putting money into the universities or into the public school system to develop the kind of talent pool that you need to do that high-level science.
The alleged hacking attempts are consistent with how Moscow conducts its foreign policy, said Brian Whitmore, director of the Russian program at the Center for European Policy Analysis.
Everything from the doping scandals to the violations of Ukraine's sovereignty to the use of chemical weapons on the territory of the United Kingdom. So the fact that Russia would do something like this should not surprise us at all.
Russia isn't the only nation to conduct this kind of cyber espionage. Recently, several top Republican lawmakers called on Trump to impose sanctions on China for stealing COVID-19 research and other information.
The barriers to conducting this type of activity are just very low. and the risks are relatively low. Cyber espionage around the globe is picking up. It is a method that allows countries a certain level of deniability. It also helps them avoid actions that could result in more aggressive responses from the United States and its partners.
According to the center's report, so far it appears the hacking group has not stolen valuable intelligence or interfered with research to develop the vaccine. For Tatiana Varoshko in Fairfax, Virginia, Anna Rice, VOA News.
And thanks for watching the 6 p.m. newscast on Spectrum Television. We will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Keep the rendezvous with us. From us tonight is good night.